Okay, now I'll get into levitation. And but even before I do that, I want to say there are two types of people: those who can image real good. I'm one of the best. Actually, I am the best. Believe it or not, that's not heady. I spent, oh good Lord, 50 years of my life better learning imagery, and out of the 12 of the inner Hyoka, each have a specialty, and I'm called the High Master of Imagery. So I don't have any trouble seeing things. And generally people do have imagination and are able to see. And that's the vast majority. But there is another type of people that can't see, but they can sense. And as you know through the lesson so far, it's see, 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 see. And I inevitably forget that people are sensors as well. So you have to go by your sensing. You might not see what you want to see, but you sense a color or a vibration or whatnot. And you have to learn to use the sensing part. You're just special people that have a different way of working. And you have to well, like my wife is a sensor and I'm a seer. And when we were together, she'll vaguely, occasionally see something, like looking through a parting cloud, but the cloud just encloses off her sight. But she can sense, you know, she's in the right spot, just by she just senses it. And anybody that's a sensor would know what I'm talking about. And being that I'm not a sensor, I can't explain it too well. But understand this, just because you don't see doesn't mean you can't do these kind of works. All right, I'll leave that, and that drops that. Now, levitation. Christ talks many times, well, he talks a good amount of times about children. And you have to have the mind of a child to do almost all of the things in the Scripture. You have to have that little childlike mind of belief to make an invisible friend that is real to you, though nobody else sees it. Very real to you. That kind of childlike mind. And that means that in testing what I teach, you've got to enter the childlike mind. You've got to trust in what you're vaguely seeing, and then it gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and then thoughts are real, and it becomes a fact. And this goes hand in hand with learning how to levitate. I originally learned, the very first lesson I learned as a medicine student was how to levitate. The second was hypnosis, both to others and self-hypnosis. But at the age of 10, my sister and I, my little sister, got on the ends of a big, long beater couch. It was a beater. We were not well-off people, but it was a big couch, very long, and started jumping. I was told to jump. I don't know why. And she decided to join me. And she was jumping too, from her end of the arm onto this cushions, and me from my end onto the cushions. And she was 9 years old, I was 10, so we were fairly tall. And gives you an idea, we weren't hitting heads when we landed, gives you an idea of the length of this couch. Well, it just got to be fun. You know, if Mom was home, she'd have killed us. But Mom wasn't home, and we were having a ball. We were just being kids. And next thing you know, we were playing, we can fly, and actually saying that to each other. And then somewhere along the line, it went from we can fly to I can fly. And then somewhere along the line, it came from I can fly to I am flying. That's the trick. when we jumped up and down and climbed back up and jumped down, I'm flying, I am flying, we stayed up, both of us at the same time. Scared the daylights out of us, and we dropped like a rock. And we were never able to do that then again. It scared us. We were not prepared. But nevertheless, I've done it since. And I don't know if my little sister, Cookie, has ever done it. She's now passed on. But I got an older sister that does it on demand. She just goes to wherever she needs to raise up like a fence and shuts her eyes and does her thing and raises straight up higher than the fence, her feet, and glides over it and down the other side. She doesn't just glide from 1 yard into 100 feet in the other. She just does it for, you know, for the prime purpose and not have to climb the fence or whatnot. But anyway, I bought a large trampoline, one of those 13-foot trampolines. And I teach people to jump on a trampoline, and it's pretty hard. It's for an adult to jump on a trampoline. We're not children anymore. And, you know, you get on that thing and start bouncing 3 feet and your stomach wants to do flip-flops, but you got to get used to it. And these kids, they get on there, the next thing you know, they want to do somersaults and break their necks. It's dangerous. But they have no fear, generally. Just give them about 15 minutes on a trampoline and they're going higher than a kite. Meanwhile, you and I as adults, we're hoping that we can hang onto the edge as our butts go up. And, to levitate. Now, we did it on the couch. You can do it. As a matter of fact, one has used their bed to do it, a little girl. And she's excellent at it. She can now do it like my sister, shut her eyes and do her thing. But trampoline is really good. And I have used these little dinky ones that you put in your apartment and run on and stuff. They're really not that great. They don't give you the bounce that you need, but for a little kid, they're pretty good. But for you as an adult, no, I would highly recommend, if you can afford to do it, get a trampoline, a big one. And you know you've got to learn, or you want to learn how to levitate. So that means that you've got to go out and try. Trying is you, and it will stop you every time. I'm trying to fly. Doesn't mean I am flying. You understand what I mean? So that's when you get used to the bouncing and all that jazz and going a little higher, and you get less and less afraid as an adult, and you start enjoying yourself. And when you can get rid of that fear going up and down that high and that hard, and start enjoying yourself, you're going to swing into the act of levitation, or you can. Now, you're trying to fly. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Now you've got to forget you're trying. You're just having a ball. You're being a little kid. I am going up and down. I am going up and down. I am flying. I am flying. I am flying. You know. Bang, you stay up. And it will only be for maybe a second. I doubt if it's longer than 1 full second. And that doesn't sound long. But when you're staying up there and you have not started down, that is 1 long second. And it'll shock the daylights out of you and scare you. Peter shocked him that he was walking on water and realized what he was doing. It scared him, and down he went. And that's what's going to happen to you. But you know it. And anybody watching you when that moment occurs, they know it. And I can guarantee that because I have witnesses to a guy that finally managed to stay up. And did you see that? I stayed. I flew. And my grandson said, yeah, so have I. Big deal. I've done it twice. turned around and walked off, you know. But so anyway, if you can get in that childlike freedom of just joy of bouncing around and having a ball, up and down, up and down, up and down, and just enjoying yourself and forgetting you're trying to fly, and then just, wow, I'm flying, I'm flying, I'm flying, saying it aloud. And I don't know why aloud helps, but it certainly does. And somewhere along the line, don't all of a sudden, well, no, I'm not flying, I'm disappointed, I haven't done it yet. Shows you that you really hadn't got into the freedom. You understand? You were hiding the fact that you were still trying back there in your subconscious. And you've got to be free of that can't. And the only way to be free of that can't is become a little kid again, 3 or 4 years old, maybe 5. You know, and just have a ball. And you'll stay up. Now, the second time you try it is really hard because you know you've done it. Boy, I can do it now, man. That sheesh. You get out there and you really try. Because you did it once, I know I can do it again. And you won't do it at all until you forget you're trying. Totally forget it. It'll take you a lot longer to get up the second time. Then the third time will be as difficult as the first. And after that, it gets easier and easier and easier. But remember last night with the drum, how I used the drum to enter into what we did. I don't want to put it on tape. It's on tape through your testimonies, but nevertheless. The trampoline is simply a tool. You don't need it. I can lay in my bed, and I do about 3 times a year, and I lift just enough to barely feel the sheet touching the lowest part of my skin, using my buttocks. And then I very gently settle down again. And boy, when you settle down, you can feel that mattress below you and everything else kind of curling up around you, but it wasn't there just a few seconds ago. And so anyway, I do have a guy who was trying levitation. He was riding his bicycle. I think his testimony is on my lessons page on my website, www.redelk.org, all little all together. And you have to go to lessons. And I think that his testimony's on there. But he started with a bike, and when he was starting to lift, his butt was coming up out the seat. Whoa, you know. And then he decided to just do it, running up and down, the sidewalk in this park. And when he started, you know, floating like running, whoa. And then he decided this is pretty cool. Red Elk is right. And then he remembered that as a little boy, he wanted to be Superman, and you'd run and jump and up and away, you know. And he decided to do that, to go back to when he was a little kid and do that. And he started to stay up. And I don't know, I think he said 3 meters. I don't know how high a meter is, but he says now he can just cruise around his backyard 3 meters high. I have no idea how high that is. But he's decided to do it at night in his backyard unless he gets shot out of the sky, you know. And very wise guy. It's just something, you know, it can cause a lot of panic. It can cause people to deem you a witch, and some people would shoot you out of the sky. They really would. And so it's nothing to play with, but it's something to learn. So that if you ever need it, and like I say, I practice about 3 times a year. Just basically, I park the knowledge in the garage like we're ordered, learn it and park it until I pull it out again. And so just to keep knowing how to ride the bicycle without wobbling down the street at first when I need it desperately, I do practice it. And but I never go higher